Okay, the luck of the samurai.
Last car on the ferry, baby. That's how you start a trip out right. Missed our reservation, but got on last car.
Literally, last one. Hey guys?
Yeah! Let's go! Time for a road trip. The scenery as we're going.
Got some wild Chilcotin horses.
Nothing to see here, just the last place in the world there's wild horses. Just chilling on the roadside.
No big deal, right?
You know, just
Epic.
Mediocre mountain views.
Mountains.
How are you doing?
All the way around, dude.
Look.
So everywhere you look, all around them is just beautiful mountaintops. You can still, I don't know if you can see it, but there's still glacier right up on top of those mountains. Just breathtaking. Having a little homeschool lesson, boys?
Yeah. But we don't want to cut into the meat. Come down here. Right here. Keep going.
Attaboy, Carver. Get in there, bud.
Nice, buddy.
Not too difficult, is it?
Yeah, not too difficult.
Getting some hands-on experience. That's what you need in life.
Back up here.
The leg right there.
Yep.
So you just cut.
You have to cut that part.
Right up in here.
It doesn't make a hole in the hide though?
No,
There you go.
shouldn't.
There you
Go
go.
ahead and finish cutting that
Going.
side.
Yep. Get this deer all processed.
It's making me want to have some because I haven't had.
Right there. We're gonna cook some. Everyone can have a taste.
Yeah, because I haven't had venison since I was like, what?
Hey, you did a pretty good job. There's no hair in this meat.
Well, guys, got a special treat for you today. We decided to come visit some off-grid pioneers to refill our tanks and, you know, give us some inspiration to keep going with our dream and keep building it up because it's, you know, it's not easy. So we have driven up as a family to visit some friends up in the Nemiah Valley here. And we are just in, this is just paradise. This is where many of these Disney movies you watched as kids were filmed up here in the mountains. And this is John and Tracy Tanis's little homestead here. So, not a bad view. And they built this place from scratch. Started with nothing but a forest. Same as us. They're living off grid out here. They got horses, chickens. Built their little log cabin here. So they're gonna give us a little tour and tell us a little bit about their story. All right, you old timers. This is Tracy and John Tanis. Say hi, guys.
Hi guys.
Hi.
And this is their little paradise that they built out here. Now, how long have you guys been out here in the Nemiah Valley?
Well, we came to the valley, John before me, but we came when I was pregnant for our daughter, Jessie, in 1986.
Yeah, I was here
And we
back in the
settled
70s.
here. Yeah.
I was out here in the 70s.
Came to the country in 84.
So I knew people here.
I did.
Yeah.
So this property, when did you guys start settling in here?
Around
Yeah.
88.
88.
We moved a tent here. There was nothing here, just bush. We moved a tent right over there.
And you started out living in a little wall tent?
Yeah, we were in a wall tent.
With 2 kids. We had a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, 1.5-year-old or something. Yeah.
And for those of you guys who don't know the Nemiah Valley, this is the winters get down to what here?
Oh,
We get 35 below.
They can get down to that.
So you spent a winter in a wall tent?
Well, it was October when we moved.
Okay, so you started in a wall tent
Yeah.
while you were building a quick little cabin,
Yeah.
which,
Yeah.
not this, but part of this, right? This has kind of been a
Turned
growing,
into a bigger building.
a bigger building.
Yeah.
So
Built around it.
let's walk around the property here, and you can kind of tell us what was here at first and how you started everything.
Yeah, so this middle section right here, that was our first cabin that John finished for us in October 1989. We finished it. We moved in 89 in here.
So it was what, like 16 by 16 kind of?
Basically, yeah.
16 by 16 square little cabin with a loft.
And then we had a little shed roof here that was kind of just an entryway.
Yeah.
And
put
later
that on
on
later,
we filled it
yeah.
in, put a bathroom in. And yeah, the roof line was different upstairs.
It was a different top on it, yeah. Used to have a different roof in it.
And we didn't have the wraparound porch or anything.
So maybe we're on the right track because we're kind of starting small and then kind
Yeah.
of building as we go and figuring out like.
We just had to because I had my family in a tent with 2 little kids and I thought I got to get something that I can get heat in.
Yeah.
So I bought used windows, almost like garage sale windows. Some of the original ones are still here. I think those 2 are original. And this is the newer roof on top, but we had an old roof and I had no money, so I put on the cheapest rolled roofing I could even get. And but it lasted for quite a while.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
years,
We were in there for quite a long time till we got the rest of it all built. The
So-
original plan was just to make this a guest cabin and build a real house somewhere else around here, but we liked this stream back here, the creek.
And we
that's
just
when-
needed more room. So
Yeah,
we got running water at one point
yeah.
and a
So-
washing machine. And
So overall, how long did it take to get how many years of building to kind of make it into what it is now?
well, before we were in the little cabin with the loft for about 7 years before we actually moved into the big part.
Yeah.
But we had been building.
But we
on
had
it.
been building on the big part. And then when we tied it all in, it was in 95
Yeah.
when we changed the roof, because that's when our youngest daughter was born, 1995. So
I took the old roof off here. I built that part first, and I took the old roof off this and brought it right out and cantilevered it out an extra few feet to give it more room upstairs. And I couldn't go logs all the way up just because I had no machinery here. I did everything by hand, the ropes and whatnot, and winch or block and tackle, whatever. But I had a pickup to use. That was it.
we framed the upstairs.
So the top is framed with log accents,
Yeah.
which is
Looks great.
I don't know.
That's as fancy as we could
This
get.
is like storybook.
Some of the
little-
windows are salvaged from other buildings.
Yeah.
These French doors here were found in the dump by one of my son-in-laws, and I built a frame. They didn't work. Some of the window frames are built from scratch just to make windows. So we had to save. It was a low-budget operation. So
But they got this beautiful wraparound porch now,
Yeah,
a little deck up top there.
Yeah.
And this is the best part here. They got this beautiful patio that's overlooking this mountain stream. The water's really low right now because the rains haven't come yet, but still just beautiful little trickling stream, and that's coming right out of the ice fields and the mountains behind us here, so it's drinkable right out of the stream. As clean as water as you're ever going to find. And they're just surrounded by what I call unfiltered majesty. Just raw nature. As good as it gets.
to run it for a while to bring the batteries up if there's not enough. Today it's a beautiful solar day.
Yeah.
Like right now, I would tell Tracy, go do the laundry or use your power up as you can because the panels are taking in a lot of sunshine. and beefing the batteries up. So it's just a process. So it's kind of a hybrid situation, mostly solar.
Yeah.
But it's a common, that is common on most people with solar at this part of the world.
So in the wintertime, you find your generators running like a couple hours a day just to keep battery topped up.
Use. If the sun is shining, even in the short time of the year, if the sun shines nice and bright, even with the reflection on the snow, then you get a good charge.
Yeah.
But you just have to make sure you keep everything charged up. So yeah, you would run it more in the winter, but
Yeah.
we just try to watch it. Yeah, that's kind of life with alternative energy.
And you find like, would you say, because you've spent periods of your time of life like living in town, and kind of living this suburban life, like you've had that experience as well, even though you spent most of your adult life out here.
Yeah.
We haven't lived in town.
Yeah.
As
Except
a
for a
married
short.
couple.
Yeah, just like a couple of years. Back
well,
in
we
Victoria.
would go in for a few months and then come back home. And
Had a couple years of Victoria.
What do you think, like, that there's like is there a big trade-off? Like, is it so is the contrast of being, on the grid as to being off the grid, is it like quite distinctly different, or do you find that like your quality of life is still just as good, but different, right?
I mean, we were struck when we were, even though I grew up with power and running water, as a child, we were never off grid. But when we were here for 20 some odd years straight, and then we went to a urban setting for a little while, and I just remember flipping a switch after being away and thinking man, this is an easy life,
Yeah.
We didn't have to go heat up the house. We didn't have to start a generator, or you just walk in the door and put your suitcase down and flip a switch and the light comes on. I was like, man, this is an easy life. Like, turn on the water and make dinner, before you, like here, you get home and you got a lot of stuff to do. Just walk in the door. Yeah.
And do you find that even though it's an extra expenditure of labor, my experience is that it's like it still adds to the value of your life, because you're doing more than typically somebody who's living on the grid, but that doing like gives you a different level of connection and I guess just understanding of where everything comes from, like a different appreciation, I guess.
I think what it is for me is, there is more work involved in your awareness, but to me, you have to put a price on feeling independent. If you don't value that at all, then you're better off to live on a grid, but somewhere. But the thing I enjoy here is feeling okay at times. If the power goes off, I don't have anywhere to call to get somebody to take care of my power bill or my power situation. I have to go down and figure out what's going on with my system. Now, I don't personally mind that, and I love the feeling of that, because I'm not dependent on anyone else.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here worried that, the power's out. Oh no, I hope those guys get it fixed. And or even brownouts. Some of my friends say they live with the grid, but they have brownouts, so sometimes their equipment gets wrecked because it's not that great, it's not, and or blackouts. And so I'll be here in the middle of nowhere having power, and I hear through media, I hear, there's these huge blackouts somewhere, and those people are suffering, and they're cold, and they have no, temporarily obviously, but. So for us, it's kind of that. It's not for everybody, but it's kind of that. That kind of a way to look at it philosophically. Do you value just being independent?
Yeah, the pride of self-sufficiency.
And it's
we're choosing a lifestyle.
You're
right?
choosing it,
Yeah.
Like when we came here, fully aware, and our motivation of being here was because of honey goutine, and John's relationship with honey goutine, and then mine eventually, because I got to know people, and now this is our community and our home, and some of our grandchildren are honey goutine, and this is our people now.
Yeah.
And so we're choosing a lifestyle, and I guess that's what we're doing, is we've got a lifestyle that, the trade-off is it is a lot more work, but we want that. I guess that's what we want.
And now you've got your kids, and they're all living similar, close by.
Yeah, our kids all came home when the pandemic came about. They were in some of them urban areas. Other were south of Williams Lake, and they were cut off from this community where they grew up. This is their home as well, and they just packed up their husbands and children and moved home. They said, we're not doing that again.
Yeah.
We're not going to be cut off from our family and our people and our community.
Yeah.
And so now they're back home, and it feels great, actually.
And so, having them close is a huge help. That's the only way life works out here is community, right? Like, everybody's got to help each other.
We all have something that we can contribute.
Yeah.
You know, our home, we have some room, and we've got some corrals and stuff like that. And our other daughter's she's got a hay meadow and some options there for us. And then our other daughter's she's got running water and power.
Solar power.
And solar power.
Yes.
Because the community here has like a one big solar field that runs the whole community of the. How many people live in the valley here? Like the First Nations, about 60 or 70?
Somebody's going to call me on it, but I think it's about 100 I'm going to say 160.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still very small community, but everybody knows each other, right?
Yeah.
So when you were first out here, you probably, obviously you're still completely, remote and away from everything, but with technology and communication and all the internet and Starlink and all that sort of stuff, like, do you feel like kind of as removed, or do you still feel like you're kind of, do you feel safer, or does it still feel kind of like, oh, if something was to happen, like we're really far away from a hospital or whatever, but with communication and technology, like, has that kind of made it a little more like, well, maybe we can stay out here longer into our older years and not worry so much about being so far removed?
Two things. We never used to have any kind of a clinic here in this community. Now there has been a clinic quite a while, and we do have a resident nurse in the community. And but the nearest hospital is still almost a 3-hour drive away.
Yeah.
And that hasn't changed. The technology is very useful mostly for contact, right?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Well, we got in 2000. The community got dial-up, and we got a wireless microwave tower for phones.
Yeah.
And I remember Sage Birchwater, who's one of the, he's a writer from Williams Lake. He said, "What are you going to do first thing?" And I said, "I'm going to call my mom," because we never had that before. So after 2000, it just felt like technology started to. You get more and more, and then you end up with more stuff. Now Starlink has changed everything. Like, it's just been, we can even put it on our pickup and go out in the backcountry with it.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty neat to have that contact. So, on the other hand, the comfort is that because Hanigutine are First Nations, resilient and strong community, living off grid and away from people and technology for so many years, you just never really feel like you're going to be high and dry if something happens.
Yeah.
Because someone in the community knows what to do.
Yeah.
And that's usually what we do. And it's just, we're always there for each other. So it works that way.
Seems like a pretty sweet life.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky. Yeah.
So this little room that we're in right here, which is now the kitchen, was the original cabin.
Yes.
Right? And you had a little loft up above.
Yeah, we had a loft, yeah.
And then so from the kitchen, you then added this little part on.
Yeah.
So now they got a little mud room, there's a bathroom, and then walk us through this next little section in here. So this is kind of where the house opens up, and it's got that log home cozy feeling.
We were going to build a separate, that was going to be our house, and we were going to just leave this for a guest cabin. But we decided there's a stream back here and all this, so we decided, no, let's just add on to this. So we started this, I don't know what year we started this. We excavated a partial basement where our furnace, or wood furnace is down there, wood stove, big thing. And it heats the whole building quite well, actually. And these logs came from back here. They're mostly all spruce. One of the elders showed me where to get some good logs back here that was when I first came in. And then yeah, and we just started building, and we didn't borrow any money, so I called it a paycheck house.
Yeah.
When I had a good paycheck, I've done contract work mostly, so once in a while I get a good little chunk of money, and I was able to do more on the house.
Yeah.
But we did use salvage materials as much as we could. Just to cut costs and do as much handwork as we could. And it's still got a few things need to be finished.
He looked at me.
So now I know that it's possible, this crazy adventure that I'm on, because we've got the living proof of people who've done it in way harsher climates and conditions than that I've got going on. So this is good. Like, it's kind of kicking my butt and just being like, okay, Jess, you just got to keep at it and get it done, because one day it will be done, and I'll be able to enjoy my place just like the Tanises are enjoying their little lodge out here.
With our grandchildren.
Yeah, and the house is full. You've got your music. You got sweet little grandbabies everywhere. Laughter and song in this house. It seems like a pretty rich life. So.
Yeah, we're pretty rich. That's true.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Now you might be wondering, how does the samurai know how to do everything? I don't. I've never done any fiberglassing before in my life. I just went to the store, bought a roll of the fiberglass, some resin. I mixed epoxy. I think it's the same kind of deal. And we'll see if I know how to fiberglass here with this project. If I screw up, well, got more work ahead of me. All right, I got a 4-liter resin, got some catalyst, mixing pail. So I'm gonna do a 1/2 liter at a time, 500 mils. Then we just brush this on where the fiberglass is gonna go. So you lay down a layer, brush it on, lay the fiberglass on top of that so that it soaks in, and then brush another coat over top until the fiberglass goes clear and is kind of transparent. All right, 'cause right now it's just like this webbing. Okay, so I should have about 30 to 40 minutes before this starts to set. This project video has been made possible by my monthly sponsors: U2 Fasteners, Odie's Oil Wood Finishes, Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's, and Princess Auto. Feel free to check out what they have to offer you by following the links in the description box below. So I had to rebuild this whole plywood section here, epoxied it all together. And then I was using like the regular Bondo, which is that pink stuff. And then I ran out of that stuff, so I went to the store and I thought I grabbed the same stuff. The stuff I bought is this green stuff. It's got like fiberglass fibers in it. And it's a lot harder to work with and does not make a smooth, like you can't trowel it very well because it's got like fiberglass fibers in it. And it's really kind of globby, and so that's what this green stuff is here. And I've tried sanding it, but oh, it's just really messy. And I tried to do like a little skim coat over the top, but you can't make it smooth, so. So I drove all the way out here today with that stuff, thinking I'm gonna get it done, and now I gotta run back to the store and get the other stuff so I can do a proper top coat and really trowel it nice, and then be able to final sand that before I put my fiberglass. So I got a fiberglass, roll, about a 6-inch roll. So I got to run it up here, and then it goes up this cant and then wraps over, right? And so I got to kind of layer it all the way in there. But if I have all these ugly divots and stuff, it'll show right through the fiberglass. And that is not, it's not the look I'm going for. So I know I'm not a fiberglass guy, and you got to kind of pick your battles, but if you can do a really good job, you should. If it's within your skill set, and I believe it is within mine, to get this a little smoother so that it looks nice. Because then when the light hits it, once it's painted right, if it's got all the globbies and bumps and humps and stuff like that, it's gonna show and look kind of shabby. So it's a beautiful day. I'm just gonna go for a boat ride back into town, grab the right stuff, and just chill, Jesse. I get anxious, right, when I think I can get something done in a certain period of time. I just gotta let go of that. I got good weather this week, so I'm just gonna keep plugging away, and however long it takes, it takes. And I know this is not exciting content, guys, but since when is life nonstop exciting content? It just isn't. I can't pretend that it is. Sometimes I'm building cool stuff. Sometimes I'm doing nasty fiberglass work that's really just not that fun. But what is with my focus here? The view is pretty nice, not gonna lie. So it's finally come that the end of summer is near, and kind of stopped oiling back in the spring because there was all sorts of bedding and stuff in here and it was wet outside, but the weather's still good. So I've thrown all the inside stuff outside so that I can get these timbers oiled and be done with this. I want to do the whole ceiling as well. I'll have to pop down those little pot lights. So I've kind of given everything a rough sand. I'm not getting too particular. Just got off most of the water stains from when I assembled the frame in the rain. And I'm just gonna throw some oil on it. So I'm getting a little, I'm going off the rails here a little bit. And I'm going to try mixing the super duper oil with the safer solvent to thin it out so that I can just roll it on. So I've poured some in this pail here because I don't have a roller tray, and I'm just, this is off-grid life, okay? You just make do with what you got. I washed out this bucket. And so I'm going to do just like a 1-to-1 mix with this to really thin it out and just see how easy it rolls on. And then, just do the kind of standard Odie's practice of just put it on. Like they say, you want to put it on in really thin coats. So this will be super thin because it'll actually have a solvent in it, which I'm hoping will help it penetrate some more as well as dry quicker and go on thinner, so then I don't have to, I'm still going to rub off any excess, right? Because you always want to wipe off the excess so it doesn't get gummy. But let's see how this goes. So I haven't run this by the Odie's people. I don't know if they advocate doing this, but it works with other oils like linseed oil. If you mix in linseed oil with turpentine, it thins it out and it goes on really quick and dries pretty good. So same kind of technique here, right? Solvents just evaporate and help open the pores of the wood. So I'm hoping this will help it really soak into the fur and, build up a good finish that way. So let's see how this goes. Well, everything is oiled up. It's dried. And my technique of mixing the solvent with the Odie's oil worked like a charm. I was able to roll this all on in a couple of hours and wipe it all off with a rag, and it looks exactly like every other application of Odie's oil. And it dried actually really quickly too, so win-win, and I can finally call the inside of this cabin done. Lift it, you gotta drag it. Pulled this stump out from right behind the bunkie and I dragged it all the way up the hill where I got my burn piles up here. It's taking a little time. Well, it's a beauty day. And it's also my birthday. So what am I doing? I'm doing what this 40-year-old wants to do on his 40th birthday. Well, technically my birthday was yesterday, but it was pouring rain and nasty. And so today is sunny. And I'm considering this my birthday. My birthday present to me is to come up in the woods by myself and cut trails with a chainsaw and a gun and a quad. That's what I like to do. For those of you who have not cut trails into the woods, I gotta tell you, it's one of the most rewarding types of labor you can do. There's something about it. It's just, you're going into the woods, you don't know where you're going, you're making a trail, you're cutting everything out of the way. It's good exercise. You know, you're finding new areas that you've never been before because there's no trails, and now you're building one. It's a very, I don't know, primal, rewarding thing, you know. It's just like it's in our DNA. We've been making trails all over this planet for countless millions of years. So, you know, if you haven't done any trail building, you know, get back to your roots and build some trails. So I'm trying to get a trail up through all this gnarliness that I can take my my quad, you know, and just ride up into the forest here, because I want to be able to have access to this forest back here, so that, you know, if I come back here and I hunt and I shoot an animal, you know, I can bring my ATV out with a little trailer on it, you know, and haul the animal out of the bush to process it. You know, for those of you who've done any hunting, you know, the shooting is the fun part, and then all the work starts, and getting you know, a dead animal out of bush, especially thick bush, is quite a task. So I'm just kind of putting some trails in here that can be used for hiking or hunting, exploring, whatever, right? There's just so much forest back here, and nobody's ever back here. This is, you know, kind of just total wilderness. And because there's no roads anywhere near here, so other than the animals, nobody comes back here except for this guy. I'm back here now.